I don't even know where to begin. Maybe it was all the weird little signs I ignored at first. Maybe it was me being naive. Or maybe it was just my gut telling me something wasn't right from the start. Either way, what I thought was just a weird vibe from my mom's boyfriend turned into something so much worse. And I never imagined it would escalate this far. So, to backtrack a bit, I'm 18. My sister's 21. We're both in that weird stage of life where we are technically adults, but still figuring things out. My parents split when I was little. They were like oil and water, never meant to be together. But they were good at co-parenting, so even though it was tough, we never felt unloved. My dad's always been the adventurous type. He traveled a lot, did crazy stuff like skydiving, and lived life on his own terms. My mom, she wanted the house, the car, the steady job, the suburban dream. So, after a few years of trying, they got divorced. No hard feelings, it just wasn't meant to be. Fast forward to the present. My mom, who's now in her late 30s, starts dating this guy. Let's call him Ken, because that's what he seemed like at first. The perfect, chiseled, well-groomed guy who's got his life together. He's charming, always got the right things to say. But something about him felt off. Maybe it's the fact that he's almost too perfect. Like he's trying way too hard to project this image of being a great guy. At first, I chalked it up to being paranoid because, well, he's dating my mom. But after a while, the way he acted around us started to creep me out. The thing is, it wasn't just me who felt it. My sister did, too. And I'm not talking about some casual awkwardness. I'm talking about full-on creepy. We both started noticing the little things he did when we were around. Like how he'd stare at my sister for way too long, almost like he couldn't help it. Or how he'd get way too close to her on the couch, pretending to be nice but making everyone uncomfortable. He'd give her these weird looks, like when she bent over to grab something at the dinner table. And when she straightened up, he'd look me dead in the eye with this smirk, like it was some inside joke. That's when I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to make a scene, though. I kept thinking it was just me being paranoid. Then, it happened. One morning, my sister was brushing her hair in the bathroom, and out of nowhere, Ken walked up behind her. He placed his hands on her shoulders, and as if that wasn't enough, he leaned in and said, "You smell really nice today." My sister told me she almost threw up right there. She said she felt like she couldn't breathe. And the worst part? She was too afraid to say anything. When we finally told our mom about it, she just brushed it off. She said we were being dramatic, paranoid, that Ken was harmless. I couldn't believe it. I was furious, but I didn't know what to do. My sister didn't want to make a bigger deal out of it, but I couldn't just sit there while this guy made her uncomfortable. We kept noticing more and more things, Ken's sneaking glances, putting his arm around her on the couch, sitting way too close to her. It was like he was trying to get as close as possible without anyone noticing. The worst part? I was the one who had to sit there and watch it. It felt like I couldn't protect my sister, and that ate me up inside. But it wasn't just Ken anymore. It was my mom too. After we told her what was happening, something strange started happening with her. She became possessive? Maybe jealous is the better word. She started acting like she was trying to claim him. She was suddenly all over him, giving him more affection than I ever remembered seeing. It was like she was trying to mark her territory, especially around my sister. Every time Ken was over, she'd be all over him, kissing him, hugging him, smiling at him like a teenager. And that's when I realized my mom was scared. Scared that Ken was more interested in my sister than in her. I can't say I blame her. It was obvious that Ken was creeping on my sister. But instead of addressing it, my mom started policing my sister's behavior. Suddenly, my sister couldn't wear what she wanted around the house. My mom insisted that she wear a bra at home. My sister, who normally liked to relax and be comfortable in loose clothes, suddenly had to adhere to some weird, over-the-top dress code. If she wore anything revealing, even in the privacy of our home, my mom would lecture her. The worst part? This only happened when Ken was around. The tension was unbearable. My sister felt like she couldn't do anything without being watched. She said she hated living here, hated how things felt, like she wasn't even safe in her own house. I felt it too, but I didn't know what to do. I wanted to talk to my dad, but my sister didn't want to involve him. She insisted it wasn't the right time, that it would make things worse. So, I kept it to myself. So, I did what I thought was the right thing. I went behind my sister's back and told my dad everything. I was desperate, and I just needed someone to tell me I wasn't overreacting. I made him promise not to tell her that I'd said anything, and he agreed. It felt like the only thing I could do to protect her, even if she didn't want me to. My dad's reaction wasn't what I expected. He didn't get angry at me or tell me I was overstepping. Instead, he gave me some of the best advice I've ever heard. He said to watch Ken closely and be ready to act if things escalated. He also told me that if anything ever happened, anything at all, that made my sister feel unsafe, I was to tell him immediately, and he'd handle it. He had this calm confidence about him, and honestly, I needed that. I felt somewhat relieved, but also guilty for going behind my sister's back. I knew she'd be mad, but I had to do something. The next few days felt like I was living in some kind of weird, twisted soap opera. I was constantly on edge, waiting for Ken to make his next move, while my mom and sister were becoming more and more distant from each other. It wasn't just the creepy guy anymore. It was like my mom had become a whole new person, a person who was now hyper-focused on controlling my sister. Then, one night, it happened. My sister was in the bathroom, and I was in my room when I heard her scream. It was a blood-curdling scream that I'll never forget. I ran out of my room and bolted to the bathroom. She was hysterical, saying Ken was touching her, trying to make her feel uncomfortable again. She screamed at him to stop, but he wouldn't. He denied everything. Of course, like he always did. He tried to play it off, like we were just being dramatic. That's when I lost it. I told him, flat out, that he needed to leave the house or I was calling the cops. I don't know what came over me, but I was done with him. I wasn't going to let him manipulate my sister or make her feel unsafe anymore. I pushed him out of the house, and as he left, he still had the nerve to act like we were the crazy ones. It didn't stop there, though. My sister called my dad right away. He rushed over, and we all gathered in the living room to explain everything to my mom. She came home not long after, and we told her the full story. My sister was still shaking from the whole thing, and I just wanted to hold her and make sure she felt safe. To our surprise, my mom didn't argue. She didn't try to defend him. She just broke down. She finally admitted that she had seen the signs, too, but had been too blinded by her feelings for him to face the truth. She said she felt stupid for not listening to us earlier. Ken was gone for good, and we didn't have to see him again. But even after he left, things weren't the same. My sister was still traumatized. It was hard for her to feel safe, even with the guy gone. She was so on edge all the time. I could see it in her eyes, the fear, the irritation, the anger. She hated that everything had gotten so out of control. And yet, she still wanted to move out. I told her we could just wait it out. We didn't need to go anywhere, especially since the guy wasn't coming back. But she didn't feel like she could stay here anymore. She felt like our house wasn't her home anymore. We had a huge fight about it. She said that I didn't care enough to make her feel safe, that if I really loved her, I would move out with her. I tried explaining that I didn't think we needed to rush things, that I'd stay with her as long as she needed me. But she didn't see it that way. She accused me of being selfish, of only caring about my own comfort. That hit hard. A week after everything went down, my mom started dating again, already. A new guy. She said he was different, that he seemed nice enough. But I couldn't shake the feeling that things weren't right. My sister didn't want to hear it. She was already done with our mom's relationships, done with living under the same roof. And as much as I wanted to protect her, I wasn't sure how much longer I could handle all the chaos, either. I agreed that we should move out, not because I wanted to, but because it was the only way to stop the constant tension. My sister and I decided to rent a small place together. My mom gave us some money to help with the move, and so did my dad. They both agreed that it was for the best, but it was clear to me that neither of them understood the full extent of how much this situation had messed us up. So, we moved into our new place. It's tiny, but it's ours. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like we can finally breathe. But honestly, I'm still not sure if this was the right call. My sister and I are getting along better, but it's still tough. Sometimes she still gets angry at me. Like I didn't do enough, like I didn't protect her enough. The whole situation with my mom is still unresolved. She's been calling less and less. And it's like she's trying to move on from everything that happened. Like she doesn't want to deal with the mess she created. And I get it. I understand that she was in denial. That she didn't want to believe her boyfriend could be a creep. But at the end of the day, she's my mom, and I'm her son. We are supposed to stick together. But I'm not sure how we'll ever get back to where we were. So here's where I'm at. Some people say I did the right thing by telling my dad and pushing Ken out. But I feel like maybe I made everything worse. I've alienated my sister even more. And I'm starting to feel like I'll never fix things between us. And then there's my mom. I still don't know how to feel about her. Part of me thinks she wasn't entirely to blame. But another part of me is so angry with her for not listening to us when it mattered. Did I do the right thing? Or should I have just let my sister deal with it on her own? Now that we are out of the house, I just don't know where to go from here. I'm questioning myself a lot. What's the best thing for my sister in the long run? What's the best thing for me? Some people think I went too far. Others think I didn't do enough. So, now I'm asking, was I right to step in the way I did?